Okay, let's see. If we look at the first sentences, first and second sentences, what do you think about the context from this? What is the beginning of the summary discuss about? What is the discussion? Very good. It's about WHO, WHO, and it is about a survey, right? So the passage starts with the survey by WHO and show that the health of adolescents in Britain, health of British people, right? British teenagers. So we can say that the passage begins with the discussion of health of the British adolescents or young people or teenagers. And the discussion is based on a survey. And the survey is done by who? Okay. So because it's a survey, what would be the supporting points? In most cases, in the middle of the passage, you get, in most cases, these are the statistics, some data, some percentages, or some numbers, or some fractions. It's all about some proportions. So the passage, this paragraph begins with the discussion of British teenagers' health, and which is based on a survey done by WHO. And the body paragraph is all about the comparison of different data, fractions, proportions, percentages. What about the final point? What is the final structure? It says, according to Mayor Danjon. So the opinion, according to someone means according to the opinion of someone. That means the point of view, or it could be the suggestions. We need to do something or some actions needed, right? It's talking about the actions needed. So we can structure the passage like the topic sentence is about health survey, okay? The body is statistics, that is comparison of data, percentages, proportions. And the final part is the actions, or point of view, actions. This is really very challenging strategy. Many students do not care about these things. They do not even read the whole summary. They just read one sentence or look at one missing word and try to feel it out somehow. But this is not a good idea, because in most cases, the whole sentence, the whole things will be paraphrased. So because you can see the passage begins with WHO, we can read the passage and find out WHO, okay? But not now, because we have two activities with this summary. One activity is identifying the number one activity is identifying the context or the structure of the paragraph or passage, summarized passage. And the second thing is to look for the grammatical form in the missing or blank, in the blanks, okay? So in the first blank, what do you expect? In the first blank. So it's I don't need a specific word, I need the form. It is an adjective. Yes. European countries, children from other Western countries and comparable, an adjective, the health of children from less than, what do you expect? Less than, I do not need the specific words. Less than is in the statistics of proportion, right? It's a proportion. It could be a percentage, it could be a fraction, or it could be any proportion. So the second one is proportion. What about the third one? What do you think? The third one? From British children say the same. 1 in 7 children from the dash group. So it's a group. What type of group is it? Definitely it's adjective. Okay. What type of group is describing the word noun group? So if a word describes another word, so it's an adjective. What about number 4? There's going to be a proportion. What about number 5? Sources according to. This is according to a national charity. Sources of stress include their noun and their noun. So 2 nouns. What about number 7? Definitely is going to be proportion. Of the English teenagers interviewed reported that they worry about the letter. The letter means the 6 number noun. Despite spending dash time, what time? Is it positive or negative? Something is going to be an adjective, right? If it is positive, then it's a good adjective, or negative. Then average working on these out of school hours. According to Magda, we need to, what do you think? It's a verb. Because after infinitive, you expect a verb. We need to dash ways to help young people because habits which, what do you think? Number 10, dash should also. Habits, verb health. Habits which, verb health. So it should be verb. So once you finish doing this, you have much better idea about the whole thing. You got the structure of the context. You also got this missing words, the type of missing words. Once done that, when you have finished reading the headline of the summarized passage, and then you have finished from the beginning till the end and find out the context in different portions of the passage or the paragraphs, and finally identify the type of words that's going to fit. Now you will focus on the first portion of the passage, of the summary. In the first portion, we can see, let me discuss the results of WHO survey. That means it's about the survey. Results show that the health of adolescents in Britain is not as good as that of children from other Western countries. That means British children, British adolescents are not physically fit, not as physically fit as other children from, one is Western European countries, and the health of children from Central Europe. Okay, so you got 2 specific names. One is Western Europe and the other is Central Europe. Okay, less than, what do you think is a proportion? Less than dash of girls from Spain, Italy, and Switzerland said their health was average or poor. We stop here. Up to this, we got the survey result, and the survey was done by WHO, and we got the Central Europe, Western Europe, Spain, Italy, and Switzerland. So we need to find out one adjective and another is a proportion. So if we quickly read the passage now, sorry. Where do you get WHO, Western Europe, Central Europe, Italy, Germany, Italy, Spain, Switzerland? Where do you get them? So when you have done that, you need to directly jump to the passage. In the first paragraph, you get WHO, And they said, a study, the World Health Organization study of more than 150,000 young people in 35 countries found that the physical and mental health of the children in the UK is more like that of adolescents in former communist nations than that of their Western Europe neighbors. Teenagers in England in particular, but also their counterparts in Scotland and Wales, have some of the highest rates of drinking, smoking, drug use, and the lowest level of life satisfaction, fruit consumption, and feelings of physical well-being. Do you have any result of the survey in this paragraph? No, so we can skip it. The second paragraph says, the whole survey on health behavior in school-aged children is conducted every 4 years and interviews 11, 13, and 15-year-olds from the United States, Canada, and nearly all Eastern and Western European countries. It is the largest international study of adolescent attitudes and provides an intriguing and worrying snapshot into the lives of British teenagers compared with their peers across the world. Is there any result? It says intriguing snapshot. That is a result. But do we get a specific result here? It's going to come in the next maybe. English 13-year-olds are the least likely in the world to believe their peers and are kind and helpful. So what do you think about the peers? What is their attitude? What is their attitude? Is it positive or negative? Least likely. Look at the word. Are the least likely in the world to believe their peers are kind and helpful. Are least likely means they do not believe that their friends are helpful. Their friends do not cooperate them. While only Russian 11 years old and Czech 15 years old had a lower opinion of their generation than the same age groups in England. Less than half of all the English adolescents saw each other as kind and helpful. What is the percentage? Less than half of all the English adolescents saw each other kind and helpful, compared with the studies average of 60%. So they find their peers as unhelpful, right? 50% of them. Less than 50% is, look at the read, less than half of all the English citizens saw each other as kind and helpful. That means more than 50% thought unhelpful. So be careful when you read. So Scottish and Welsh girl rated their health. Now we are coming to the discussion of health as only fair or poor. So we have the discussion as only fair or poor, and we have a question of girls from Spain, Italy, and Switzerland said their health was average or poor. Is there any proportion? A Scottish and Welsh girl rated their health as only fair or poor, with only their peers in Ukraine, Lithuania, and Latvia feeling worse off. Fewer than 1 in 5 girls, in Spain, Italy, and Switzerland feel the same way. That means this. So what is the answer for question number 2? Less than a fifth, 1 of 5. So in the first, it's not good as that of children from other Western European countries and the health children from Central Europe. is the discussion of health. We just got the discussion of health from here, right? Was there any discussion before that? No. So the discussion for health starts from here. Okay, because we got one answer, we will keep reading in the summary paragraph again. While 1 in 3 British children said the same. 1 in 7 children from the dash group, which group? And as many as dash of 15-year-olds report they are not happy. So the topic is about happiness. And the percentage about the children from the group, as many as dash 15 years olds. When the children were asked about the quality of life, that means happiness, England was in the bottom half of the league, while Dutch, Swedish, and Greek young people were the happiest. English children struggle with a wide range of factors which reduce their quality of life. 1 in 7, 11-year-olds. So 1 in 7, 11 years old. One in 7 from the 11 years. We will write this exactly, then later we will compare. Okay, do not, whatever you get from the passage, directly write it here. So 1 in 7 children from 11 years old group, and as many as dash of 15 years old. So what is the value for 15 years? And 1 in 4, 15 years old, right? 1 in 4. 15. So we will directly write 1 in 4, 15 years old report that they are not happy, are unhappy with their lives. So up to these, we got the discussion of 2, 3, 4. In the real examination, don't be obsessed about one particular question that you do not find. Why? What happened? Why I cannot get the answer for question number 1? Don't be obsessed with this. Don't be intrigued to read the passage again and again and again and waste your time. You just first find out as many questions as you get. Yeah. So next, and their dash. According to a national charity, sources of stress included some 2 nouns. We need 2 nouns. We need a charity and 2 nouns. A spokeswoman of the National Children's Charity, Childline, said, we counseled more than 120,000 children last year. And the main reason for this was bullying. I think there is more that could be done to protect young people. Things like exam stress are also a big problem. Children need to know that exams are not the only measure of success. So how many factors you get? One is exam stress, the other is bullying. So we can write it directly. We do not look at the option now, but we write bullying and exam stress, right? Exam stress. So bullying comes from home. You need to know bullying comes from home and exam stress comes from where? Next, if we've got up to question number 6, more than a proportion of English teenagers interviewed reported that they worry about their later about what? Exam stress. Despite spending how much time than average working on these out of school hours. So we need how much time they spent, the proportion of time they spent on their studies outside school maybe. While English youngsters have below average hours of homework, with only a quarter of 15-year-olds spending more than 3 hours of a day after school assignments. They feel under great stress. On average, they have less homework they have to spend less time at home for their studies, yet they feel great stress from this. So spending, is it? It says with only a quarter of spending more than 3 hours. That means on after school assignments, spending more than 3 hours. We just get the idea. Then average working hour. So it is then means compare. So do they spend more time in their homework or assignment, or do they spend more time in their school? Do they spend more time in their school, or do they spend in their homework? They said with only a quarter of 15-year-olds spending more than 3 hours. That means 75% of the students spend less than 3 hours on after school assignments. Yet they feel under great stress. 6 out of 10 boys and 7 out of 10 girls and 15 age 15 English say they feel pressured by schoolwork. With only Lithuania and Welsh peers reporting greater stress. So here, what do you understand? You understand that they spend less time on their homework, right? Do they spend more time or less time? Less time. So it would be something related to poor time or less time. Okay. Now, number 8, not number 7. More than, what is number 7? Is about the English teenagers. Is about proportion. More than days of the English teenagers interview reported they worry about the later exam stress. So what is this? What is the percentage for exam stress? A quarter is only for 15-year-olds. While English youngsters have below average hours of homework. That means they have less homework. With only a quarter of 15-year-olds spending more than 3 hours a day. That means 75% are spending less than 3. If 25% of these 15-year children, if these 15-year-olds spend, quarter means 25%. 25% of 15-year-old children spend more than 3 hours. That means 75%, the remaining 75% of 15-year-olds spend less than 3 hours. They feel under greater stress. Yet they feel under greater stress. Then 6 out of 10 boys and 7 out of 10 girls. 6 out of 10 boy, 6 out of 10 is 60%, right? And 7 out of 10 girls is also 70%. Say they feel pressured by schoolwork with only Lithuanian and this. So what do we understand? More than dash of the English teenagers interview reported they worry about the later. That means about the exam stress. So it could be because 60 and 70, it could be more than 50%, right? More than, we can guess it would be more than 50%. Okay, some fractions is 60%, some fraction is 70%. According to, so this is all about statistics. Now finally, according to Mark Danjon, we need dash. So where is Mark Danjon? We need to find out the name. Campaigners said the failure to tackle public health problems affecting young people was causing a self-perpetuating cycle of abuse. 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 7 boys aged 15 in England smoke every day. The average 15-year-old picked up the habit at the age of 12. A spokesman for the pressure group Action in Smoking and Health said, "We are puzzled by the government's reluctance to introduce a smoking ban in public places because it would help reduce tobacco use among young people. It would also help." So there is no discussion about the name, and this is not the part of our summary because there is no question relating to smoking and tobacco. We can skip it and go to the next. Throughout the survey, English children rated alongside children in Central Europe. Do you get the Central Europe? Where is the question from? Britain is not as good as that of children from other Western Europe countries, and dash the health of children from Central Europe. Throughout the survey, English children rated alongside. English children rated alongside. That means English children are equal to Central Europe, rather than with nations such as France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. So we can say and equal to the health of children from Central Europe. We can consider one is equal to. Okay. So now you get, when you are reading in the beginning, sometimes you might get nervous. Oh my God, I got question number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where's number 1? But you see the Central and the Central Europe is not discussed up to this point. As and when we got the point Central Europe, we need to get back to question number 1. So this is possible only when you go through the whole summary passage first. If you do not read the whole summary passage first, you will never know where is the question going to fit and which part of the question is missing. If you do not have a clear structure of the summary passage, you will not be able to relate the different parts, different portions of the main passage. 1 in 3 children from all age groups in England watches more than 4 hours of television per weekday, compared with an average of 1 in 5. A third of 11-year-old children from the country go without breakfast in school. So these are all about habit. We do not need this information because these are not related with our question. We need the name. Only we have 1 question missing, right? How many questions? 2 questions, right? In question number, in each paragraph, we see health experts said the study should help countries to develop long-term policies to improve the health of young people. Mark Danton, do you get the name? In H, who regional director said looking after the health of young people is of vital importance. Looking after the health of young people. We know that attitudes, behavior, and lifestyle patterns strongly influence well-being and are shaped at an early age. It is important to know what factors determine these factors. It is important to know. That means we need to know ways. We need to know ways to help young people, because habits, we need a verb, right? We need a verb. Habits, health, which health are formed when we are young. And say, we know that behavior and lifestyle patterns are strongly influenced, right? It says, we know that attitudes, behavior, and lifestyle. Attitude, behavior, and lifestyle is paraphrased with habits. And verb is influence well-being and are shaped at an early age. Are shaped at an early age means are formed when we are young. Look at this very carefully. Well-being and are shaped at an early age. Are shaped at an early age means Shaped means formed. At an early age means when we are young. So habits which influence health are formed when we are young. So now that we have got the answers directly copied from the question, this is the final stage. Now you need to match with the given options. This is very challenging. If you do not have a good sound knowledge and vocabulary, you might fail in this section. So now we are going to match. The results of the WHO survey shows that the health of adolescents in Britain is not as good as that of children from other Western Europe countries. And the health of adolescents is equal to the health of children from Central Europe. Is equal to can be replaced by which option? Can you use it? Health, no. Quarter, no. Appearance, no. Better than, no. If, no. Improve, no. Middle, no. Affect, study, half, fine. Pairs, parents, studies, more. Equators, whole days, this. The only options that is close to the meaning of equal to is comparable to. So comparable to would be the answer of question number 1. And then it says less than 1/5. 1/5 equals what? 1/5. Where is the answer? A fifth, right? It's going to be 2. And then 1 in 7 children from the 11 years group. So in our studies, 11 years group were the lowest border. And so what would be the answer? Youngest, right? 11 years group were the lowest border, right? So youngest is going to be question number 3. What about number 4? 1/4? A quarter. So a quarter would be the answer for question number 4. Now, according to National Charity, sources of stress include the bullying and their exam stress. So bullying come from where? No, bullying. Who bullies you in school? If you go to school, who bullies you in most cases? What tiffin karaneke? Tiffin peers. So what would be the answer for question number 5? Okay, peers would be the answer for question number 5. And exam stress. So exam stress come from where? It's related to study, right? A study or studies? It should be studies. This one, plural. Because you see there. So from their studies, exam stress, their stress, sources of stress come from their sources of stress. The stress come from their peers. That means their peer bully them. Their peers bully them. And the sources of stress come from studies because they need to prepare for exam. And what about number 7? 50%? More than half would be better because we got some specific data. 60%, 50% like this. So more than half would be better, right? So more than half. Half would be question number 7. What about despite 7 spending number 8? Poor time or less time? You have less here. Question number 8 is less. What about number 9? We need to influence. Influence means affect, right? The question number 9 is affect. Oh, sorry. 9. We need to know. Know means we need to find. Where is that? Yeah, this is number 9. And number 10 is influence. So this is the way you need to find out the answers. So let me discuss the whole process again and type them. So let me summarize today's class. The strategies there discussed. Number 1, get concept on the passage, right? Skimming. There is heading plus subheading. The second point is look for summarized. Look for the heading of summarized passage. Okay, the second step, you need to look for the summary heading for summarized passage. Number 3, read the summarized passage for the structure of context plus predict each gap with form, not the whole word, with form only. We'll be looking for noun, adjective, or verb that can fit the gap. Number 4, once you've done that, you need to go through the passage. Now only then you read or a scan. Here you need to read